After spending 9 chaotic months in Cancer and Leo, Mars finally moves on and trades drama for discipline as it enters Virgo on Tuesday, June 17th. Until August 6th, the warrior planet will encourage hard work and bring humility, attention to detail, and perfectionism into your life. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. I really enjoy your support, so please take a few seconds to leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, and press the notification bell. Watch more of my content or say thank you by buying a tea, a coffee, a croissant, any other present that you'd like to bestow upon me. Thank you for that. Before we dive in, if you're seeking personal guidance, you feel like 2025 is unpredictable and hard to understand, book a reading on my website to look at the year ahead. Solar return is a good reading to do right around your birthday. Natal chart is always lovely for the beginning for self-understanding. Relationship consultations are there. I can also help you figure out the best place in the world you should live in, or help you elect the best date for an important event in your life. On my website, you can find all of those readings. There are a couple of durations as well to serve everyone. And you can register for my natal astrology course, which begins in September. It is not for everyone. It's only for people who are serious about taking their astrology knowledge to the next level, living the life full of empowerment and clarity, where you use the transits and the cycle to your advantage and you don't feel just like a leaf in the wind. So definitely sign up if this is what you're seeking. Today we're talking about Mars entering Virgo. Mars is the planet of action and desire. It is the soldier, it is the warrior, it is the smith, it is the planet that yields blades and takes heads. I mean, it is the planet of conflict, so in that regard, it can definitely take your head away and get you very driven by your impulses and your anger. But it is also the planet that can be like sharp and specific. And in the house of Virgo, Mars has to operate in this calculated, clever, intelligent way. Mars rules 2 signs, Aries and Scorpio. So when Mars travels through Aries or Scorpio, it very much is free to do its own thing. It is in its own domicile. However, when Mars goes into signs other than Aries and Scorpio, it is a house guest in the house of that planet, right? So with Mars in Virgo, we have Mars in the house of Mercury, in the house of yin, analytical, perfectionists, all about systems and drawers and ways of organizing things, Virgo. So when Mars is here, you become very hardworking. Mars in Virgo is like a workhorse. It is productive. It can accomplish a lot. It's persevering. It has staying power. You may become, however, more fussy about things and maybe more perfectionist, getting stuck in the problem that Virgo is known for like not seeing the forest for the trees because you're too attentive to detail. So learning to balance, learning to notice the details, be analytical, be perfectionist, but not let it control your life. Perfectionism, I guess, gets a lot of negative connotations, but if it's harnessed well, then you can definitely be good, I think, at doing your best work instead of just being like, I'm not a perfectionist, I'm just gonna leave it as is. Yeah, like I'm a Mars in Virgo, and there used to be a time when I would watch at the pictures people would post on social media, at least one of my friends. I can't remember her Mars, but it may have been Pisces actually, so it would be opposite mine. So she would just take a picture and she would just post it. And so it would be like framed incorrectly in my eyes, right? It would be framed kind of odd, and she wouldn't put any filters on it. She wouldn't like crop it or anything, and that's not how Mars and Virgo rolls. We definitely try to tweak things so that they look nearly perfect. Of course, nothing is perfect, and that is the lesson that Mars and Virgo needs to learn. So good for hard work, good for taking care of your health. Mars in Virgo is connected to taking good care of your health, exercising, eating better. You may notice that you're becoming more structured in terms of how you take care of your body. You may notice that you're more crafty, that you're more focused on working with your hands. Like in my case, right, I make candles. I use my hands as the Virgo sun, Mars and Venus, and I bring forward something that requires a lot of analysis. It takes me a long time to figure out the perfect time to create a candle or an oil, and then the window of opportunity is really narrow. And sometimes it's in the middle of the night. So for example, this is the exalted Mars, which actually works really well with Mars and Virgo. It's another of like workhorse, powerful placements, but is even better at maximizing the system to its advantage. So if you need help with sticking to your fitness goals, with exercising, with asserting your ambition and authority, climbing the ladder, reaching success, highly recommend this exalted Mars. Especially good if you were born with Mars in Cancer, which is the sign of its fall, which is very emotionally driven and sometimes struggles standing up for themselves. Tends to be really good at standing up for family members, but sometimes maybe struggles standing up for themselves. Or if your Mars is in Libra or Taurus, which are the sign of detriment for Mars, another kind of side of the coin where it's really hard for you to get openly angry, right? So sometimes there is this like passive aggression and conflict avoidance and seething tensions under the surface. So with Mars in Virgo, you benefit from like precision, you benefit from clarity, you benefit from focus on your body. You may, however, struggle with mercurial issues, and that is that tendency to over-focus on details, a tendency to be very critical, struggling to let go of control. Where mind is strong, it's hard to relax sometimes. So I think people who are born with Mars in Virgo, and by transit, and if this is you, do let me know, because this is me also. But by transit, we may notice that we are a lot more analytical when it comes to our sex life as well. I think Mars in Virgo, men and women tend to be in their heads a lot, right? And there may always be like a slight sense of being a little bit dissatisfied because the reality never meets your expectations. So watch out for that danger of being too like narrow-minded and too perfectionist and too much of a control freak. Mars will be conjoining South Node when it is in Virgo, so you will get a chance to let go of some of that, because that's what the South Node in Virgo is about. When Mars is in Virgo, it responds to Cancer. It has to sort of relate with, it responds to Mercury. Mercury will be in Cancer. I just like omitted a couple of words. When Mars is in Virgo, the ruler of Virgo is Mercury. So we want to keep track of what Mercury is doing. And Mercury is in Cancer until June 26th. So the first 11 days of this transit, Mars is responding to Mercury in Cancer, which means your perfectionism, your attention to detail, your hard work and humility and desire to help and be of service may be directed towards nurturing your relationships, building a crib for your child, building a garden, building a chicken coop for your chickens. And replace chickens with any passion project you have. There may be like a strong focus on bit by bit, brick by brick, nurturing what you're passionate about. And then from June 26th until September 2nd, Mercury will be in Leo, including its retrograde period from June 18th until August 11th. So for a while, from July 18th until August 11th, when Mercury is retrograde, Mars will be ruled by the retrograde Mercury, which means that some of our energy will need to be rethought. But Mercury being in Leo may direct Mars towards doing creative things and playful things, and maybe directing our energy towards getting recognized and getting our ambitions fulfilled. So if we were building a chicken coop or a garden for our child, right? With Mercury in Leo, we're more likely to use our precision and perfectionism to actually build build a stage for ourselves to perform from, or to build a YouTube channel that is its most magnificent and magical and can let us shine from our, as brightly as we can. Some of the dates worth mentioning: Mars will sextile Jupiter on July 22nd. Mars is the planet of action, Jupiter is the planet of good luck, so this could be quite beneficial and positive. The Sun will also sextile Mars on June 26th. So Mars sextiles Jupiter June 22nd, Sun sextiles Mars June 26th. And then on July 23rd, Venus will square Mars, which is potentially a bit more friction, a bit more, annoyance and friction between men and women, relationship, passionate exchanges that can lead to fun time in the bedroom, or can lead to throwing plates and hitting each other in the head. So try to be careful at that point in mid-July. So let's take a look at the 12 rising signs and give you a glimpse of what this might be about. Highly recommend booking a reading with me if you'd like personal guidance. You're seeking insight about what the year ahead has in store for you. You want me to look at your natal chart to help you understand your life purpose and help bring some clarity into your life. If you seek a permanent clarity or opportunity to actually speak the language of the transits, sign up for my natal astrology course. It begins in September, and you can register on my website. So let's talk about the rising signs. If you are an Aries rising, Mars is entering your 6th house, which is its house joy. 6th house is the problem-solving house. It's the realm of work, health, and service. Professionally, you're energetic. You have the know-how. You're the person that others come to for advice. So you're driven to handle professional matters and problem solve and get ahead. Health-wise, this is a really great time to get your routines in order, to get your exercise in order, to start regular sort of swimming lessons or running, or take yoga regularly, whatever your heart may desire. There may be a little bit of friction with your colleagues, a little bit of like needing to navigate your perfectionism versus them not doing things the right way. And you could also benefit at this time from like spending time with animals or taking care of your pet. You're maybe more driven to kind of like take care of your pet's health as well as your own health, not just in terms of exercising, but also scheduling doctor's appointments might be a really good time at this point. And I like this for career success, right? Looking for a new job, asking for more responsibility. The only other better energy for your career would be exalted Mars, which is Mars in Capricorn. If you'd like a candle or an oil to support you, check out my website for that. But this is still very like, you can take on more, you can handle a lot. Just make sure you're not pushing yourself too hard. And because Mars sextiles Jupiter in June, there is this like nice energy between your problem-solving abilities and Jupiter in the house of home and family. So maybe you're rebuilding something in your home, or you're taking care of family and their health and just like working on more connection with them. If you're seeking more, book a reading on my website and register for my course on there too. For the lovely Taurus rising, Mars is entering your 5th house. So 5th house is the domain of romance, pleasure, parenthood, and children. It's also sometimes connected to gambling. So Mars here can speed up your impulses and make you a little bit more urgent in terms of satisfying your desires. Of course, it's still Mars in Virgo, so it's still going to be finicky and discerning and perfectionist. Watch out that it doesn't affect your relationships too much and doesn't make you just seem like this fussy person who's never satisfied. But this could be great for maybe getting your negative habits under control. This could be great for dating, specifically going on active dates. This could be great for perfecting your creative projects. Let's say you're a writer and you can use this time to edit your work, or building something for your child, like building a crib for your child or teaching your child how to read, using that kind of intellectual energy of Virgo together with Mars. I can also imagine this as like taking on smithing, where you're like forging a sword during this time, taking on some kind of fun passion project and investing into your hobbies. And dating wise, you are more likely at this time to attract someone who is also martial, who is active, driven, has a job that requires a lot of courage, or they run a business potentially too. If you'd like more help, if you need more advice, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. And on there, you can also pick up this great Exalted Mars candle or register for my natal astrology course. It begins in September. If you are a Gemini rising, Mars is entering your 4th house, the house of home, family, and living situation. So this will make you stand up for yourself. If anyone is repressing you, frustrating you, maybe a neighbor plays loud music or has too many house parties, you will be the one knocking on their door and telling them to turn that music down. It's also a really good time to take care of your home, to maybe declutter. Sorry. And streamline things in the home, right? Like get rid of some things. Sorry, I feel like my throat was making odd sounds. So being proactive in the home, decluttering, throwing things out, maybe fixing things, making home improvements. You are more active in spending time with family. Maybe you guys are competing together, playing sports together. You're kind of like driven to connect with people you love. Chances are there's going to be more friction, potentially because your family members are being critical, or you are a little bit critical and perfectionist in the way you want things to be done. So watch out that you're not too controlling and too overbearing when it comes to working with your family or even making home improvements. And if you're seeking more guidance, book a reading on my website and register for my course. It begins in September. And if you're someone who's serious about astrology, it's not going to be for everyone, I understand that. But if you're someone who's very serious about astrology and self-improvement, this could be just what you need to make your life better. If you are a Cancer rising, Mars is entering your 3rd house. 3rd house is the realm of everyday life. People you see, the car you drive, places you go to, your thoughts in your mind, your kind of like everyday activities. So Mars will definitely speed it up. You're going to more places, you're seeing more people, you're maybe driving a little bit too fast. Watch out for that. Do not drive too fast because reckless driving is not good for you and it's not good for people around you. But you are more busy, you're seeing more people, your phone is lighting up, you're maybe more forceful or more direct, more able to pinpoint and just maybe like solve the problem with your intellect, more forceful in your speech. This could be a really great time to work out or exercise, to expand your hobbies, to include some kind of some type of like athletic pursuit, let's say. And your mind is also likely to be really busy. If you are a creative person or even at your job, you're going to be good at problem solving. You're going to be good at like pointing things that need to be done, that need to be fixed. So yeah, it's a pretty good one. I think it could be a sign of you being really productive, really good at problem solving, maybe spending more time with siblings, spending more time fighting with siblings. But for the most part, it's a positive transit. So take advantage. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Register for my course. It begins in September, or pick up any of my lovely candles on there too. If you are a Leo rising, Mars is entering your 2nd house. You're driven to take care of your finances. You're maybe looking into investing, you're paying off debts, you're entrepreneurial, you're starting a business, you're making more money, there's always a danger with Mars in the second house to maybe spend more money and be a bit more impulsive with how you spend and what you spend on. But I think Mars in Virgo should be quite rational about spending in general. I think Leo risings tend to be pretty good with money because Virgo is your second house, so you're very Virgo-like when it comes to finances. But it is a good time to use your hard work and your attention to detail to actually make any improvements to your bank account, to maybe move money around, to research better rates, to refinance your mortgage and things like that. Watch out for fights that involve money and values, because you're more likely to feel like you really know what you want and you know how you want things to be done. And so it may be easier to provoke you and make you fight for what you think is right. If you're seeking more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com or register for my natal astrology course on there. It begins in September. And if you're interested in astrology, this is the course for you. If you are a Virgo rising, Mars is entering your first house, the house of identity, health, body, and image. A burst of energy to not only take care of your body, it could be, for sure, exercising more, eating healthier, making doctor's appointments, feeling more driven, feeling more outspoken. You're coming out of a long period of Mars just teeter-tottering from your 11th into 12th houses, and you have the energy now. You know what you want, you know who your allies are, and you're ready to take a leap. But also energy to take on projects, maybe energy to fight for people, to fight as an entrepreneur, to speak up, to start projects. It could be quite an energetic, enthusiastic transit. However, you're likely to be more fast-moving, more accident-prone, more likely to bump yourself into things, to scrape your knee and to hurt yourself. So just watch out that you're moving slowly and not rushing places. And if you have more questions, you have personal questions, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. And on there, you can also register for my natal astrology course. It begins in September. For the lovely Libra risings, Mars is entering your 12th house. So your warrior planet is going behind the scenes. And for the next month and a half, you will be potentially more private, more introspective. Your action will be private, right? You're maybe working on something, you're writing a book, but you're doing it in solitude. Or you're developing a course, right? But you're doing it in privacy of your home. You're not making it official yet, right? Like my course will be live when Mars is in my first house. So sorry to make it about me, but I am very much like in this mindset right now of like growth, and which makes sense with Jupiter entering the house of career. So something is taking you behind the scenes. You're working on something, you're exercising maybe on your own. You're more driven to like do things and think about them in solitude. The negative here might be sleep issues, because 12th house is the place of mysteries and hidden things, and Mars is a warrior, so you're maybe fighting a lot in your head and being more self-critical, being tough on yourself, and that might affect your sleep. So make sure you're exercising and taking nature walks, and give yourself time to rest when necessary, and try to avoid being really hard on yourself. 12th house relates with hospitals, prisons, mental asylums, and at its worst, it could be you who's in that place or just in some kind of emotional turmoil. But at its best, and most often that is what's more likely to happen, I think, unless there's a lot more other complicated transits or aspects in your chart. But at its best, this could also encourage you to go out there, volunteer, help people, give some of your energy back. And that is actually always a really good way of working with 12th house transits. Don't try to control things you cannot, and try to leave an impact and work with things that you can. Let me know how this resonates, and if you're looking for more guidance, if you're looking to learn more about astrology, visit my website, book a reading, or register for my course, which begins in September. For the lovely Scorpio rising, Mars is entering your 11th house, infusing you with energy to fight for a social goal. This could just mean that you're organizing a wedding for a friend, or you're planning a party for someone. You are very good at keeping track of all the details, right? Mars is in Virgo. Very pragmatic, very grounded. Keep everything in your head. So at this time, you could be a really good person to ask to pioneer some kind of project at work, with friends, socially. Mars in the 11th could be the time you are volunteering, you're participating in some kind of nonprofit organization, getting involved in some kind of project. There may be a danger of fighting with friends, especially if those friends are being too critical, too nitpicky, too perfectionist, or if you're being too precise about how things should be. So do watch out for that and avoid fighting with your friends. But I think in general, it's pretty good for working with other people, for showing your humanitarian side, and even following your dreams, because Mars is in the 11th, Jupiter is in your 9th. Maybe there is some kind of opportunity to, just a sec, to get involved in a larger organization, to maybe teach or guide or help other people. Highly recommend my Exalted Mars candle if you want to maximize this energy even more, or Mars Kazemi. You can find it on my website. You can also register for my course on there, or book your personal reading too. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Mars is entering your 10th house, so the realm of your public life. This can offer you opportunities to be more visible, more assertive, and more masculine on some level in your approach to your career, in your approach to your relationships with authority figures, projects, your business, and things that you're working on. This could be great, right? Mars will sextile Jupiter in your 8th house of other people's money. So your professional ambition may even get satisfied with a bonus in late June when Jupiter and Mars connect. You are ambitious, you're driven, other people see it, they're more willing to give you the authority and the power that you seek. You may come across as like a little bit intimidating, a little bit know-it-all, a little bit my way or the highway. So watch out for that. Watch out that you're not sort of just igniting drama and conflict because you feel like your way is the only correct way. It could be useful to potentially consider, other people and their opinions, perhaps. I don't know. Could be a good idea, but it's good for starting a new business or working on your business, finding new clients, asking for more responsibility, asking for a promotion, even starting a new career path. And anything, this is the house of career, but like anything that involves you taking action, being visible, stepping up, speaking up, all of that is very much highlighted with this transit. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and register for my natal astrology course. It begins in September. If you are a Capricorn rising, Mars is entering your 9th house. You're driven to go on adventuring. There could be an intellectual adventure. This could spark up your desire to study, your desire to pick up a foreign language, or your desire to connect with some foreign connections, maybe even go to a museum or go to a French language club or something like that. Or it could be a physical desire for an adventure. You're planning a trip, you're going on a trip in the next month or so, you are maybe traveling to study, you're adventuring, exploring faraway lands. Sometimes Mars in the 9th house brings a little bit like militant, aggressive worldview where you start to look at the world as a series of obstacles to overcome, a series of battles to win. So watch out that you don't do that, and watch out that you're not being too critical or too kind of stubborn in the way you view the world. I like this. It's an interesting one for partnerships too, starting partnerships that involve writing, because Mars will be sextiling Jupiter in your 7th house of relationships. So creative collaborations, partnerships that involve maybe running a business that has travel in the name or in the business plan. Yeah, writing, publishing, even some kind of legal partnership, a legal business, or applying for a visa. All of that could be good at this time. If you need extra help, exalted Mars captures Mars in Capricorn, falls in your 1st house. Perfect for you guys because it's created with Capricorn as the highlight. Pick it up on my website. On there, you can register for my natal astrology course or book your reading. Especially if you have a birthday coming up, get that solar return reading to find out what's ahead for you in the year to come. If you are an Aquarius rising, Mars is entering your 8th house, the realm of debts, loans, taxes, shared finances, inheritance, mortgage. You are driven to pay off your debts. You are driven to clear all of your kind of like engagements with other people that are not necessary. This could be financial. This could also be any sort of dependencies you have on other people, or you signed up for a gym 5 years ago and you've never been, but they keep charging you. With Mars in Virgo, you'll be willing to go and tell them that no. It makes me think of Friends. But you'll be willing to like cancel your subscription. Just make sure you don't sign up for a bunch of extra things. The house of shared finances, partners' finances. There may be some developments in terms of joint bank accounts or paying off a mortgage, maybe refinancing a mortgage, dealing with any kind of negotiations, agreements, and things like that. The challenge here might be some power struggles, some battles around money, some disagreements in terms of what is worth spending on, what is not worth spending on. Maybe a certain tendency to control things and maybe tell your partner how they should spend their own money. Do keep it together. Do try to be mindful that you're not forcing your opinions on other people. But if you are, let's say you have a hunch about some kind of investment maybe, and your intuition is usually correct, do listen to it. It could be a good time to take action towards something that you've been dreaming about. Investing into education, taking a student loan, taking a mortgage, all of that could be lovely too. If you're seeking more guidance, visit Anastasia.astrology.com for a personal reading, to have me look at your unique birth chart and use the sacred knowledge of traditional astrology to shine some light on it and shine light on your life. And register for my natal astrology course. It begins in September. It's not for everyone, but it is for those that are committed to self-improvement and to living your best life. If you are a Pisces rising, Mars is entering your 7th house, the domain of relationships. It's funny because Jupiter is currently in your 5th house, which is another romance-oriented house. So you are driven to date, you're driven to commit, you're driven to move your relationships to the next level. Romantically, this could be seen as going on more dates, being more proactive, asking people out. Maybe you're thinking of getting engaged, so you're proposing, right? Or you're thinking of moving in together, or you're getting married, some kind of important development there. A change in the life of your partner is also possible, where maybe they're taking control of their life and going for new dreams and new beginnings, right? In terms of contracts, negotiations, you may find yourself discussing important things, maybe renegotiating your contract and renegotiating your mortgage, kind of taking courage to rethink your agreements and your relationships may be seen here. I really like this for both romantic new beginnings because of that Jupiter-Mars connection, as well as professional action, creative partnerships, joining forces with other people who are like-minded and starting partnerships and agreements. And please share if this is you. What are you thinking about? Is it a business partnership? Is it a romantic development that you're looking forward to? And if you're seeking more, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. Register for my course. It begins in September. And if you're ready to take control of your life and live life full of power, empowerment, and clarity, astrology is not for everyone, but it is for those of us that are committed to self-improvement, I think. So check my website for that, book your reading, and thank you for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed or you haven't pressed that like button, do it now. I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate people who say nice things in the comments, people who watch me regularly. Sometimes some of you defend me in front of other people who leave me not so pleasant comments. I see it, so I really appreciate it. And I know that you guys got my back, and hopefully my advice helps you feel like I got your back too. I will see you soon. Bye for now.